Let's make this narrower. Oh, look what it does to the buttons. My poor, beautiful buttons. Terrible. Here's what I'd like to happen. I'd like it to just let this sort of run off the page and not make these go on to the next line. So let's start with making those not go on to the next line. Here's the button group. We already have a rule for it, setting its margin bottom to nothing. There's a property called white space, and you can set that to no wrap, which means do not wrap onto the next line when you run out of space. Refresh. Okay, and then it doesn't. So what does happen? Oh, good. It just runs off. Well, that's not cool. So what can we do about that? But what if we said these should never wrap onto the next line either? Let's do that. Then we'll run off even more, right? White space, no wrap. On dyno name. Refresh. Yay, it overflows even more. Keyword, overflow. So what you can say, you can hide the overflow. Let's see if we do, what happens if we do that. If we just say on dyno, overflow hidden. Oh, good. Now you just can't get to those buttons. Yeah, so maybe that's not what we want to do. Maybe on dyno name, we could say overflow hidden. Then as they run out of space, they just kind of disappear under the buttons. Now this is really, really thin here. So that's kind of a silly example. Write out ye royal stegosaurus here. That's better. It'd be really cool if it kind of let us know that there's more, like putting an ellipsis there. What if on dyno name we also say text overflow ellipsis? Refresh. Holy smokes. Look at that magic. Isn't it beautiful? Haha, look, it's so fun. We've run out of room. Ellipsis. Ha ha ha. Now what if you really, really want to be able to see the whole name? We could put a title on it, which would at least make a tooltip appear in most browsers. So in app.js, back in render list item, we're already setting the text content of query selector to the dyno name. I mean, of the dyno name element to the dyno's actual name. We could also say, yeah, I'll just put these one right after another. Set attribute title to dyno name. And most browsers, if you have a title on something, when you hover over it, it shows up. Yay. There are also a lot of tooltip libraries that are really easy to add. That'll do the same thing, but it'll make it not such a tiny tooltip and make it a little easier to find. And it might even make it work on mobile if you tap on that thing. That's pretty good for right now. We could also make those buttons take up a little less space because there's an awful lot of padding on those. How much? Let's see what we got. Button. Button has a padding of 0.85 em on the top and bottom, 1 em on the sides. So how about we say, okay, so that was a class of button, and that was coming straight from Foundation. So if we say a button specifically that's inside that actions element, so actions, and then a descendant of that with a class of button. Do you get what that means? That's a button that's inside the actions span, the button group. Then we want the padding to be a bit less. Let's say we cut 0.2 off of each. So instead of 0.85 em, 0.65 em. And instead of 1 em on the left and right, we'll say 0.8. Refresh. Yeah, that's more like it. Looks very reasonable. It made them all smaller too, top to bottom. Now we have more room for these things. But if we do run out, we still have our ellipsis trick kicking in. So that was a combination of putting white space no wrap on both the button group and the dyno name span. Then an overflow hidden on the dyno name span so that it doesn't just start running outside its boundaries. And then text overflow ellipsis is a newer rule than those. And that, if it is overflowing, just puts an ellipsis at the end. Now I am getting close to satisfaction. Tweak. Dyno style. I could say dyno name style.